Okay, guys, December 8 patch here in Infinite Magicraid. Let's get into it. First, couple new characters in Elsa. Took me a second to understand this character. I wanted to read this before getting into this. But how she works, I think she's probably... We still don't know the numbers, we don't know the cooldowns, but I think she's going to be the best healer in the game. Because for the most part, most survivable / support characters in this game are all shield-based characters. But I think this character finally provides something to where you can bring a true dedicated healer that... that's the sole focus of your team and it actually work. So, first thing, this is already a really good selling point is just her auto attack, whereas Sparkling Fire deals attack damage to a single enemy and then restores HP by a certain percentage of Elsa's max HP. So it's not HP of whoever you're healing, it's her max HP, so you can really ramp it up, make it way higher than everyone else's, and then it heals them just off the auto attack. There's multiple ways to build a proc that. Mainly, you're going to have Catherine on your team, at least eventually sometime, if you're not there yet, and then you'll be able to practice off constantly. Because, yes, she provides the shield, yes, she does healing it herself, but sometimes she doesn't heal all the way. And being able to have this constantly happening out of turn is going to be massive. Because I feel like in this game, damage is so high that we need the shields, and then what happens is even the shields are not enough by the time the shields come back. So we need passive healing that's happening without a turn being taken. And this is a really good way to do that, in my opinion. So it's having her on the auto attack, healing everyone by a percentage of her HP. Super sick. It's awesome. And then she has a really complicated kit. So mainly how it works is when she loses HP, like a certain amount of max HP, we don't know the numbers yet, and we don't know the cooldown amount times either. So like take this with a grain of salt. But for the most part, what's happening is she gets a passive, like a debuff called Fire of Blood when she takes a certain amount of damage, and then during which HP will not be accumulated. I believe that means she won't take damage, but after Fire of Blood expires, lost HP will be recalculated. Maybe she takes it at that time. I'm not sure, but that's one of the buffs she'll use to amplify another move. So she has a stack of that, and then also she's getting another stack for every 1 layer of HP burning inflicted on an ally. Elsa gains a layer of Spark of Life. When Spark of Life stacks to 10 layers, all Spark of Life will be consumed, and the self gains a layer of Fire of Hope Flame. So we have Blood when she takes damage. We have Flame when she gets 10 stacks of people taking a ton of HP burns, during which Spark of Life will not be obtained. Elsa will prioritize the consumption of Fire of Blood to enhance skill effects. So that means that I believe she's going to be prioritizing the Blood one, which is going to in turn mean she would take the delayed damage, which potentially is fine because it gives you time to put a shield up or something to not kill her, is my guess. But we won't know for sure until the game actually goes live. And then if you read so now let's check the other moves and then how it actually applies and boosts the effect. So for example, her ult deducts certain Elsa's max HP. So she takes damage normally when she does one of these moves. Meanwhile, grants all allies a layer of heal, which restores their HP of Elsa's max HP each turn, and a shield for 2 turns. So it's awesome. She has a shield too, so you can really pair her with Catherine, because I really feel like you need 2 shielders for most content. And then restores HP of heal is based on Elsa's max HP. If Elsa consumed any Fire of Hope to cast Lantern of Redemption, her HP will not be deducted. The heal will last for 3 turns and the shield strength will increase. So if she has one of those stacks on her, then she'll not take the damage and amplify it. So maybe the shield gets actually crazy with that. I wonder what the actual modifiers are going to be. Then her A2 deducts a part of Elsa's max HP and restores HP based on Elsa's max HP for all allies. Meanwhile, increases all allies' effect res for 2 turns. This is something, if it's only 25%, it really doesn't do anything. If it's 50%, that's actually a pretty big deal. I don't know which version that's going to be. If Elsa consumes any Fire of Hope to cast Lantern of Redemption, her HP will not be deducted and all allies' effect res will res boost for the increase for 2 turns. Okay, so it's the small effect, but you need the big effect. Okay, I didn't get to that point. So that is actually pretty sick. So it guarantees the 50% res boost. So you can actually kind of plan to build effect res, in my opinion, now, if you can consistently apply a 50% effect res boost to your characters to potentially not get effects on you. I don't know which content would actually truly benefit from that, but it is nice to have that option. I'm just going to skip the exclusives. I think we should just talk about the main kit here. Let's move on to Elbek. Okay, so I think this guy's actually sick and really good potentially. It depends on his numbers and what he can do and how often his shield comes up, but I would love to be able to slot this guy into my Mark like Red Tower team and then probably like dungeon runs and stuff like that because I think he's going to provide a ton of survivability and be a really good anchor for your team here. So he deals damage based on percentage of HP to a single enemy. Afterwards, he gains 2 layers of Desert Soul. If this attack lands a crit, additionally gain a layer of Desert Soul. If the target is killed, additionally gains 2 layers of Desert Soul. Each layer of Desert Soul increases his max HP. So that's the big thing here, is that each layer of the Desert Soul that you're gaining is increasing his HP, which is going to increase his other skills like his shields and also his damage because his damage is scaling off max HP. But the really cool thing is that this buff will not be removed upon death or wave transition, which is a big deal. A lot of people that have stacking buffs like that, for example, Hazaro, it doesn't transition through waves. And then a lot of times you need an exclusive to do this. If you have a Mutu, for example, to keep his Willroof between waves, I believe you need exclusive 2 for him, which is a bummer. And then, but up to 50 layers, it's probably going to be like a really small increase, like 0.2, but 50 times, like over the course of a battle like this, especially if you have all the waves to be able to ramp it up. Super sick. And then Soul Guard grants all allies a shield by a certain amount of max HP for 2 turns. Always amazing. Shields are like S tier, especially if you have ramping HP ones and your damage is based off your HP. So everything is scaling off HP. His passive reduces Elbec's all damage received, increases the all damage reduction when he takes damage from enemies whose HP is lower than his. So as long as it's not a boss, he's always going to be, actually, it's going to be tough. Maybe that would be an arena thing where he's actually going to increase his HP. I haven't really checked the HP of ads, but obviously a boss with like 15 million HP is going to have way more HP, so it won't affect there. But maybe some of the side ones we can actually build beyond them. Maybe they have like 500,000, but I doubt it. I think they have so much that it's not going to be a PvE thing. And then lastly, his ult deals damage by part of his max HP to a single enemy. This skill has leech and he gains additional max HP while attacking with the skill, which I think is cool because it's going to ramp this Desert Soul thing up. Well, the concept of it faster because he's getting more max HP. So he gains additional max HP while attacking with the skill. So that's something that's not going to last. And the only thing that will actually transition is going to be these 50 stacks. So I think he's really good. I think the main thing is going to be his A2. If this is on a 3-turn cooldown, I think this guy is so good. If it's on a 4-turn, it's kind of a bummer. But I really like where this is going with this guy. The damage, like he's not going to be like a big damage carry, but like imagine this guy on a 3-turn cooldown. He's kind of like a whim, but better. Is how I look at it. He wouldn't have the passive, so maybe not. You'd be like complimentary of him, maybe not better, but we need all these kind of characters we can get because of faction wars and stuff like that. We always want to have characters that can shield. So I think he's super good. Okay, so next, let's talk about the epic here. This guy's pretty hype because he is a HP burner and an epic. So potentially could be really useful. Okay, so this guy could be really good for progression but he's pretty cool actually. So first is going to be his A2. Let's talk about this because this is going to be the thing that actually matters. So he enters hardening mode and immediately acts one more turn. And then he can also cast this. I bet this is on like a 3-turn cooldown or something like that. But he gets rid of the hardening mode and immediately acts one more turn. And then hardening increases his max HP by a certain amount. And then I was looking at this. I'm wondering which one's which. Because there's fierce hammering and then there's flame hammering. I believe the top one is going to be the damage one. And then the other one is going to be the when he's in hardening mode. Because you start by going into hardening mode. So I'd assume you're starting in the damage mode and you have to switch to hardening. And so that's why it's listed that way. The pictures don't really... they both look... usually it's pretty obvious. Like one's an attack one, one's a defense one. But both of them look kind of, offensive based, I should say. So, but it's his hardening mode that is interesting because he's gaining more max HP. So on bosses, that's actually going to increase the damage of your HP burns when you're already capping that 30%. So it's the more HP, the better. And then his auto attack allows him to apply an HP burn, which depending on the percentage, if this is just a horrible percentage chance, then it's garbage. But hopefully it's good. And then his A3 Deals defense damage to all enemies with a chance to inflict 1 layer of HP burning for 2 turns. So the AoE HP burn is really nice for clearing content, especially campaign and stuff. I really noticed the difference between having a Sigmund in campaign. I like Sigmund way more than I like Malia. You know, like you can, you know, exclusive to Malia and whatever and get the AoE, but I didn't have her there. And so I was using Sigmund a lot more in campaign because it was nicer to have the AoE clear. So it's a really big deal when you're trying to progress to have this. And on an epic character, really cool. And then he also just looks good. Being able to switch between the two is awesome because he's doing damage. He can inflict stun. I bet this is on a really low percentage. It's really hard to do this. And then his ultimate on the other form extends the stun or has a chance to apply the stun. I bet it's really bad percentages, but I hope the HP burn is not terrible. So that, and he's also a defensive scaling champion, which I think is awesome for something like this. Because you're just trying to build him tanky and your defense actually works in your favor versus having him as an attack character in this situation. So really cool there. Also, he gains more speed when he switches to this form. So I wonder if he has this off the rip, like he just always has more speed, like a flat amount. And then when you switch him off, he gets slower, but then it increases his max HP. I think that's interesting. We don't have the specifics there. So really cool character. I'm just going to read these real quick. I didn't give it a shot. I didn't check this out beforehand, but let's find out. So his exclusive 1 reduces the cooldown of potential power or blazing hammer by 1 turn when he enters or gets rid of hardening mode. Okay. I like that. But that would imply that you're doing one of these other moves before switching. I feel like you would just immediately switch to hardening mode and then use those moves because I think that's going to be more useful overall. But it is nice that when he's switching, he's potentially lowering cooldowns even more so. And then additionally gains effect hit when he's not under the hardening mode or mastery when he's under the, that's cool. I wonder how much he's actually going to get there. That's a really sick one. And then exclusive 3, potential power deals 1 extra stage of damage. Potential power, damn. So that's a bummer because if it was blazing hammer, it would be amazing in my opinion. But okay, let's see what happens. So 1 extra stage of damage deals extra damage by a percentage of max HP for every layer of HP burning on targets who are attacked. Blazing hammer, the extra damage caps at a certain amount of his max HP and is considered as HP. Okay, well that's interesting. So it's like it boosts that, but then also there's synergy there. So the more you exclusive him, the more you're encouraged to switch between the two. But I think for most content, you're just going to want to have the HP burn. But switching also is going to lower the cooldowns, you know, potentially there too, because, you know, you get that extra turn. So I think depending on his numbers and depending on how often he can apply HP burn, this could be a really encouraging character for free to play. You just have to pull on this and get lucky, I guess. But it's nice that they're at least adding epic versions of HP burn characters. Okay, what's next? Okay, I'm just going to speed run through the rest of this. So the big one that I really like is this multi-battle feature. So it optimizes it so you can put in the amount of fails you're willing to require before it just stops. So you don't just waste a ton of attempts if you screw up. Like I've done this before where I thought I had a team in and I just didn't have the team at all and I just lost a whole bunch. So it's really nice to have that. It's a good insurance policy that you're putting this because I think this is, for this type of game, this is one of the coolest things that they've implemented where you can multi-battle and just put away your phone. I hate having it to where it's like, yes, you can technically auto-battle it or put it on the side or whatever. I think that's really annoying and I don't like that distraction. I like it to where I could feel like, okay, I'm still progressing, I'm still doing stuff, but it's on there. But the fact that they're still improving this feature is really cool because, for example, in like Raid, it was a whole bunch of like, oh, here's the thing that you can do for free on BlueStacks. We're just going to make you pay for it and give no value for any of that. Whereas in this game, they actually give you real value. And yes, this requires a currency to buy the stuff in game, whether it be gems or whatever, but it feels like it's actually useful. Like I want to get this currency. So I think that's really cool. And then they changing the login issues here. Also, this is the wish up for everyone else. I'm really excited for the characters on here. If you're close to pity, whatever, I think a lot of these are really good. This is one of the few banners. I don't know which one I would go with because Elleena over here, she's amazing. If you get her, I want to say exclusive 2, get to the, she takes a lot of exclusives to make her actually good. So I don't really recommend her for most people. On my free to play, I have both of these in Nidrold and Elleena, and I think they're amazing. I think these are some of the coolest characters. And then I also saw a screenshot someone posted in a Discord where it was like Nidrold and Hizaro, but they were like super whale maxed out, but they were doing like 100 million each in Guild Boss 5 or 6. So it's like Nidrold's like this absolute monster I think he's like one of the best in-game damage dealers in the game at the moment, because his passive, where he's like scaling off of all his damage, is like based on his mastery and stuff. It's like he gets to like triple dip off everything. It's really sick. And then these other characters here we just read, depending on their kits, like maybe these are the way to go. I'm not sure, but I think for bleed, you can't go wrong with Elleena. I think maybe like super late game when you have like all this gear and all this stuff, like what people are doing, it's like better to have, because like there's more potential damage with like a Nidrold plus a Zaro or something like that. But if you want, for most people, I think Alleena's, if you want to go bleed, which I think bleed is really good, it's just it's going to be the thing eventually going to overtake HP burners. It looks like they're outscaling HP burners in the super end game, so it's encouraging. You know, it means HP burners are not just king everywhere. But I think for the most part, it's nice because HP burners, you just slot them in, and then they just perform, and you don't need all this synergy, or you don't need multiple HP burners to make them work. You can just throw them in, and they're good. But for like single target damage against guild boss, these bleed characters have their place. And then what else is going on here? They lowered the shop here. They didn't lower Augment, but they lowered everything else. I don't know how much cheaper it is, but that's cool. This is probably one of the worst parts of the game. Like when it comes to playing on your phone, it's not as bad because it's actually responsive. At least my phone's responsive compared to BlueStacks in this. It's so laggy and so painful trying to do the multiple arena battles. I can't stand it. I have I just do a like, what is it? I use BlueStacks. Link in the description, by the way. But I use a macro to auto do all my arena battles when I just walk away, because it's so painful. I don't like doing them. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for this patch here. Not crazy patch, new characters that are actually pretty interesting. If you guys are actually close to pity, I don't think none of these are really jumping out to me as like crazy characters that are worth like 100% getting if you're close to pity and you've been saving it. I don't know if this is going to be the one for you. If you're in that situation and you have a bleed character, like you have a Nidrold, you want to pair him with Elleena, I think that could be something worth considering. But for the most part, I think these are just good, solid characters. That I wouldn't be mad at pulling at all, but I don't know how they really stack up. I don't know where I'd put them on a tier list at this point. But that's going to do it for this patch here. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.